We're back, Squeeze the Neck podcast, and we are Spain today. Costa Blanca, I said that right?
Costa Blanca, that's it.
I said this right off camera, so I'm going to try and get it right on camera. Nadine Tavares da Silva.
Awesome, perfect.
Bosh, thank you very much for doing this, I appreciate you. So yesterday I did the class, and I'm not in it today, but I was in the gi yesterday. We had a great class, so thank you for letting me in your class.
Thank you.
Tell us, where are we?
We are in Spain right now. We are in Costa Blanca, in the southeast part of Spain. Beautiful place to come and spend a few days for holidays. Right now, the weather is not the best, but you know, usually most of the year, throughout the whole year, you get great weather.
Right, it was good for me yesterday. After your class, I went from here 10 minutes to the beach, on the beach.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm staying right on the beach, so it's perfect. So it's nice. But before we get into anything too deep about the gym and wherever, tell us where you're from and how you got into Jiu Jitsu.
All right, yes. So I was born in Brazil, but I left when I was really young. I left at the age of 10, and I went to Italy, where I spent another decade,
Wow.
almost a decade. And then I went to England, where I spent another decade, and now here in Spain for the past 3 years.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I'll be all over the world, you know.
Yeah.
And finally here. How I started Jiu-Jitsu? Actually, I started as soon as I got to England. I arrived in England in 2012, and that's when I started. And before that, I used to do a few other martial arts because my father used to teach boxing when I was a child. And so I've always been involved with martial arts, but yeah, Jiu-Jitsu just took over, you know?
Yeah, right. So where in England was you? Was you in London?
I was in London, yeah. I've been in London throughout the over 10 years that I was there. And yes, I started training. Actually, I started because of Muay Thai. I trained Muay Thai, and I saw these people just like rolling and doing some crazy stuff, and I was like, this is weird. But I was curious, so I had a friend that was like, oh, come, try, etc. So yeah, after the first time, I've got a few pictures of my first sessions, and oh my God, like people in the mountain, I'm hugging them, just bringing them close. But yeah, it's funny to look back, but what a journey, isn't it? So many years, and like we were saying before we started recording, you know, time just flies, and wow, it's been 10 years for you, 12, 13 for me, and you know, it's just like this constant in your life that you're gonna carry on for the rest of your life, I think, isn't it? Like,
Hope so, yeah. If the body holds up, I don't know. I'm starting to get to that point where things are starting to hurt a lot. I don't know. But which gym was you at in London when you started?
I started in a gym called Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. It was like a small Jiu-Jitsu gym in the north of London. And then I moved to Fightzone. After a few years that I was there, I moved to Fightzone.
You're in Fightzone in London?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. Shout out Fightzone London, Marco Cagna.
That's it. Yeah, I was training with Marco since my blue belt, really. And yeah, Fightzone London has given me so much, really, you know. For me, it's the best place in the whole of London. So.
Well, New School might have something to say about that. But I trained up there, actually. I've been to Fightzone. I used to do wrestling. I don't know if you know Josh up there.
Of course.
Big Josh, shout out Josh. I think his name's Northcote, I believe his name is. I haven't seen him for a while, but yeah, great classes he used to teach.
Awesome classes, yeah. He's the funniest guy. You know, like, it's not only very dynamic, his classes, because it's tough.
Yep.
But you also have a lot of fun. This is actually one of the classes that I miss the most, wrestling class. I think wrestling is a great, complementary thing for Jiu-Jitsu. And yes, it's just, oh my God, it's just so tough. Mm-hmm. If you think about how tough wrestling is, you know, how hard it is for them to prepare, and wow, yeah, kudos to them, you know. So yeah, even like doing one or a few sessions, you know, every now and then, it's is really cool. It really brings a lot to your jiu-jitsu, I think. You know?
I believe so. Yeah, it's different, isn't it? It's a different,
It
like
is.
physically, it's
It
you know,
is.
it's a mad pursuit. But if you, when you started training in like Fightzone London, it was obviously, I'm assuming it was a bit different than it is now. Like if you go to there now, it's like, I mean, it's probably the biggest gym I've ever seen. It's crazy
Yeah.
over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was it like back in the day when you started?
So when I started, there was no, like, we didn't have the white mats. Yeah, so that part of the building wasn't there yet. So there were just 2 mats on this side. And you would have Muay Thai and Jiu Jitsu kind of like, you know, really close, and like the gym was packed, like very steamy, you know, and class upstairs. So we were a bit more like clamped together, you know. And with the new space, obviously, like more space, more mats, so they have extra classes as well now. But yeah, when I started, you know, it felt that you had more people. Now with more space, it's more spread out, I would say, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, also it was different with, they didn't have, like, for example, the shop that they have there. It was all different. Yeah, it was completely different. The reception was different, you know. There were seats for people to come and watch. Then we started removing those. Yeah. You know, the thing is about the classes for the kids. Yeah. Over time, we started putting them, well, sort of like a policy. Like parents cannot stay like in the class to watch
Right.
the whole class, like every time. You know, we do open days, for example, here and there as well, where parents can go and watch, but like specific days, you cannot go every day.
Yeah.
Because kids in the end, they get very distracted, so we changed the whole setup. But yeah.
But it's hard with kids anyway, I find, right? Kids under sort of like 8 or 10. Like when I've covered class, I don't teach regular, but I've covered classes. And that's harder than any other class, man, because they, you know.
This specific age that you're saying, 8, 9, 10, is the age that I take care of
Yeah.
the most. You know, is the age that I work the most. And yes, it's extremely hard, but it's also my favorite.
Really?
You know,
Okay.
My favorite. They are conscious enough to, you know, to understand concepts, you know, but still very young, very childish, and very pure in a way. You know, it's really nice. It's a beautiful age to work.
It is a nice age, because the age before that, when they're sort of 4, 5, 6, forget it. They don't take any notice of you at all. They just run into the wall.
Serious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's just a game, you know.
Yeah.
We do have classes for 4 to 6 years old, but yeah, they are very young. It's more like a game. Obviously, they end up learning things, but you know, it has to be a play time. You
of
know?
course, yeah. But with yourself, obviously, you compete a lot, right? Like, have you got like plans coming up, like in the immediate future? I know you've just come back from the Euros, but is there anything coming up that's sort of on your radar right now?
Yeah, so definitely going to Rome for the Grand Slam.
Nice.
I want to do a few AJPs this year. The big plan for the year would be to go back to Vegas for the World's Masters in August. And yeah, there's you know, a few things here and there. Half planned. So before saying anything, you know, let's wait for them to actually be confirmed. But yeah, for sure, this to Rome at the end of February, and in August we're going to World's Masters.
Nice.
Those are fixed. And
Yeah.
then let's see.
Good. And the reason I ask as well, because when like different fighters or grapplers get involved in lead up to competitions, like some people have different schedules in terms of training, the way they like to do it, blah blah blah, which always interests me because they're different. They're massively different, right? So like, if you're preparing for a competition, how long do you like before, and what does that look like?
How long do I what?
How long before do you sort of change your training to sort of like what you'd call like a camp, if you like?
I would say that like at least 5 to 6 weeks before you want to already have the mindset of competition. Like the trainings are gonna will have a purpose towards competition. Because I feel that as a coach, you know, and as an athlete, my mind has to switch often between one and the other, you know, because as a coach you cannot always go for the kill, because if you're training with a student and you just kill them, there's no learning for them. Obviously they will learn, okay, I'll probably get smashed very often, but there's no learning for them technically, you know. So I have to switch often this mentality, and I feel that that's the hardest part, as well as the most, you know, the most challenging, really, but also the most fun, you know. And so yeah, 5 to 6 weeks before I'll be going more for the kill, let's say, you know. I'm channeling the you know, wild animal so that I can go for the finish, really.
Do you choose training partners in that time in terms of like size? Do you get more specific to your size in that time? Because some people like to train with big, little, don't care. Others are like, no, I only train with my weight class.
Well, I cannot. I used to be very spoiled when I was in London, because I could pick and choose. Okay, today I want to train, be harder, and so I'll just get brown belts and black belts, and they're gonna help me, you know, and give me a hard time. Then there are other times in which, okay, today I need to work more on my technique, and so I might work with someone that has less experience but more my weight. So, you know, but here I can't pick and choose so much, you know. I adapt a lot, you know. Often I have to train with people that are heavier than me. Right now we do have a few girls that, you know, in a way that they are helping me really, even though they are way less experienced, sometimes even lighter. But I would say that one of the things that I've been learning in this past 3 years, working here in Costa Blanca, in Fightzone Costa Blanca, is adapting, you know, get the most from any training. Doesn't matter if the person is way bigger, way smaller, more or less experienced. You know, if they're less experienced, I'm gonna put myself in a bad position so that I can work myself and, you know, from that position, and they can eventually learn as well, you know. So yeah, it's just, I think it's a matter of adapting. You have to adapt to the training partners. Otherwise, what you're gonna do, you're gonna train alone, you know.
Of course, you're gonna end up being the guy that drills on like. Do you remember them dummies that used to be around? You don't see them anymore. They used to be. They used to always be like.
We do have one.
They're around somewhere, But everyone used to have them, and they used to be like cool when people making videos and shit. They seem to have gone now. People don't seem to use them as much.
Yes, I mean, I guess like they were very. They started becoming more famous during COVID as well, you know.
Right, of course.
Yeah, but now hopefully we won't need them for a while.
Let's hope, none of that shit anymore, for Jesus. But how about like strength conditioning? Are you into strength conditioning as well? Because that's the reason I asked that as well before you answer is because that's the biggest sort of variance when I ask people. Some people go, I don't do anything, just Jiu Jitsu, Jiu Jitsu. Used Other people go, I do strength conditioning 8 days a week and like boom, 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 boom.
So to be fair, I used to be that person, Jiu-Jitsu, you know, like if I would do any weights or any strength training at all would be very extremely rare. But obviously you learn over time about injuries, about resting, about, you know, like actually working your muscles the best you can. Because let's face it, Jiu-Jitsu sometimes can be very damaging for your body. You know, certain positions that we do, if you carry on just doing those positions, you're gonna, you know, become like a sort of like a bowl, really. So we need to do other things that help us to compensate that, isn't it? And strengthening the muscles is extremely important, I would say. So yeah, like Rafael Coloyeza, my husband, he's being helping me more with this. He recently got his PT certificate, so he does my training. So I'm more motivated. He's a geek for strength training and stuff. So he has no problems in doing his training by himself. I do. If I have to go and train by myself. But yeah, like if you have a bit of a push, let's say, you know, and I'm learning and liking it more and more, you know, I would say. So yeah, at least 3 times a week I'm doing strength and conditioning for sure.
Because I think that's the way you said it, like to look after your body, right? I think the mistake people make, and I've definitely done it in the past, is the mistake is you start training like a CrossFit athlete, right? You start doing too much, and then there's more injuries. Because I've got training partners, and I always mention him, Reese Bailey. Shout out Reese, black belt at New School. He's one of them that doesn't do anything. He just does jiu-jitsu. Sorry, he doesn't do anything. He trains jiu-jitsu every day, multiple times, blah, blah, blah. But he's like, never injured, touch wood, I don't want to jinx you, mate. But he's like, and I've always been the opposite of like, you need strength conditioning, blah, blah. But the more it goes on, I look at it and I go, I don't know, man, maybe they're doing something right. Do you know what I mean? He's like, all he does is jiu-jitsu and he's fine, whereas I get injuries fairly regular.
I don't know, I like, obviously each person is different. We have to find a way to balance things. I'm finding right now that my normal training would be 3 times strength and conditioning, and 3 to 4 times jiu-jitsu. That would be my week.
That's it?
Yes.
Yep.
And then when I'm under competition, for example, if I'm going to be competing in a month time, over those 4 times, I will have to add at least another 2 sessions.
Right.
Yeah? So, to be fair, like, right now, I'm not, like, I watch loads of matches. There's also the studying part, you know. You study, you, like, for me it's important, you know, watch old matches, watch matches of mine, matches where I lost as well, you know. Some people don't like that. People are like, let's not watch that anymore, let's forget about it. No, those are the ones that you have to watch, you know.
Yeah, right.
And as much as painful it is, you know, because it is painful, you see yourself losing, but that's where the learning is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so there's a whole lot of aspect beyond the physical one, you know. That's the part that I've been developing more in the past few years, you know, the psychological aspect as well, you know, the psychological preparation, mental preparation. What do you do to prepare? Do you just prepare physically? Do you just go, you train like crazy? And then when you are there, you're close to the match and you have doubts. Maybe you didn't prepare right here, right? So yeah, that's another aspect that I'm very into, you know, the mental preparation, the resting. You know, I didn't used to rest enough. You know, I used to be like always on the go, three classes a day. You know, and not enough rest. So my body wouldn't, you know, regenerate quickly enough. You know, so I'm learning to you know, work these aspects a little bit better right now.
Yeah, because that bit's hard as well, isn't it? With the whole, like, I think you can overthink too, right? I've definitely made the mistake in the past of I'll do this, and then like you're planning your week, and by Monday lunchtime you're like, shit, no, this is no good because this and this.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
there's that whole, but like you said about Hafa is sorting things out for you. That's a benefit too, right?
Yeah,
because just let someone else figure it out.
To be fair, yes. I mean, if you're an athlete, you know, don't save on what you can get help for. Like, I'm talking about, get a nutritionist that can help you with planning more or less what you're gonna be eating throughout the week. You know, like, get some help for your training, like a schedule for your training, you know. This is investment. It's not like money that you're spending. It's investment on yourself, you know. And yeah, it takes away some of the work that you have to do, you know, mentally. I have to do this and that. Like, if you get some help, you know, it's just beneficial for you. You know, you have more time to do other things, I would say.
Yeah, I just think as well, when it's yourself, you overthink, right? Whereas if I was planning for somebody, I'm training someone.
Yeah.
You plan it, boom, and they start doing it. Whereas when you plan it for yourself, it's like I said, on the Monday afternoon, you go, well, maybe I should change this, and this, and before you know it, the whole thing. Yeah, the whole thing goes downhill. But it's like you said before, you're preparing for the Masters, right? Now, this is an interesting thing because Masters in Jiu-Jitsu, for anyone who doesn't know, is over 30. Which to me is too young to be a Masters, right? Really, but like, you know, that's a whole different story. But like, if you don't mind, how old are you?
I'm 33.
You're 33, so still, I mean, in your prime, really, right? But
yes, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. My plan is to carry on fighting in adults. I did take in the past year. I took bit of a break. I needed to take a break. I had an injury in 2023, at the end of 2023, and then like through this injury, like my confidence was a bit shaky. So that's where I started working on the mental aspect the most. So I took a break, you know, to work on other things, and now coming back, you know, I'm reinserting myself in a competition through my category, my division, which is Masters. But like, even though I've been in Masters division for the past 3-4 years, I've been fighting adults still, you know. I fought adults throughout the whole brown belts and the beginning of my black belt. So yeah, my idea is to keep fighting adults, but you know, like there are so many competitions, master competitions as well, so the more experience, the better. You know, I used to think, no, I'm gonna carry on doing adults as much as I can, la la la. Yes, as well, but you know, there are Euros, Masters, it's here in Barcelona, you know, in May. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And you know, there are good competitions for Masters. And don't get me wrong, Masters are freaking hard, you know, tough. Very, very strong, you know, people that, most of these people already have children, are fathers or mothers, so I always say the strength of a father, the strength of a mother is different. It's different.
Is that right? Yeah.
I don't have children, but I feel the difference, you know, a mother and a father, you have a different strength in the grips and stuff, I don't know.
Maybe that's the tip, we go out there and have some kids and you'll be better in jiu-jitsu.
I don't know.
But it's funny because, like as you said, like Masters 1 is 30 to 35, right?
Yeah.
Which is, if you think about it from like a physical point of view, it's probably the prime years of your life, right?
Yeah.
But what's the thinking behind that, you think? Is that just because of like lifestyle? Like between 30 and 35, like you said, people got kids, people's got different responsibilities. Is that part of it, do you think?
I would say so, you know. I mean, yeah, it really depends on the choices you make for your life. I mean, I see, recently, you know, so many friends of mine that have had children and, you know, they go back to training like in no time. And that's probably because the lifestyle they've been leading was so good that allowed them to get back to training very fast as well. So obviously that has an influence. But yeah, you know, they say between 25 and actually 30 as well. Now that would be the actual prime. But I feel great. To be fair, right now I'm 33, and if I think about myself physically, when I was 23, I feel better now. I feel stronger now.
Yeah.
You know, because of what we were saying before, this conscious of training now. I do more strength and conditioning. I'm more aware.
Right.
I'm stronger now than I was 10 years ago. To be fair. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm only 21, so I'll take your word for it. But when we get to it, but nah. Like, do you enjoy teaching? Because yesterday, again during your class, it seems like, you know, it's like sometimes you go to class and people teach, and they're good coaches, but you can see they're doing it as like a job. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas in your class yesterday, it seemed like you're there. Do you know what I mean? You like to be there.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And that's thanks to Marco, really. You've been
Really?
with Marco.
Marco, okay, of course.
Yeah, so he's an incredible coach, you know, like if you've had the chance to do some of his classes, he just makes your life easier, you know, like, and I became passionate about teaching thanks to him. You know, since I was a white belt, I was like, yeah, I want to get involved with Jiu Jitsu in a way that I can teach it, right? But it was hard. I couldn't understand so many things. I had so many gaps, you know, so many questions. And this guy, you know, he had so many students, but he would always take the time to give you some attention and give you a detail that would be like, whoa, okay, you know, yeah, I start understanding now. And so yes, like, teaching, I think is the best part for me in
Really?
Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah,
That's
I love it.
And also, by the way, you taught class yesterday in 2 languages. You explained it in, I believe, Spanish and English, right?
Yes. That's the usual.
Really?
Because we have many students that come just for holidays, or students that are here and they speak no English at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we do. We have some students, they come from Ukraine or Russia. They recently been here for, you know, a short period of time. So You know, we do what we can to make people feel comfortable, really.
Yeah.
You know, and languages is the gateway for that.
Yeah.
You
How many
know?
languages do you speak? 'Cause you said you live in Italy as well.
I speak 4 languages.
4 languages.
Yeah.
Okay, so English, Portuguese, Italian, Spanish.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So that's heavy duty as well. Like, because in terms of teaching yesterday, I mean, because you was coaching in English, and then you was coaching in Spanish, and I was like trying to pick up this. Not I can't speak Spanish at all,
Yeah.
right? But I'm watching and I'm trying to take it on. But then you explain it in English, kind of how I was expecting it to be from the explanation in Spanish, right? So it's like, is that taxing on your system? Do you know what I mean? Is what I'm trying to get at. Is that hard to do?
I think it's so ingrained now within my system, within my hardware,
Right.
that it becomes automatic. Sometimes, if I have to be honest with you, sometimes it's easier for me
Really?
to jump from one language to the other, because sometimes I find better ways to explain, and just slightly different, and I explain it a little bit better. And if you can understand both, it's gonna be even better for you, you know?
Right.
But yeah, that's, so when I moved to Italy, I was 10 years old. Obviously my main language was still Portuguese, but in Italy, learning Italian, etc. So you still speak Portuguese with your family, and so I've always been used to the, mixing languages, My husband at the beginning, we've been together now for 5 years, but at the beginning, he would be like, can you just speak one language, please? And I would be like, no, I can't, like, sometimes it's better for me to just jump from one to the other, and I can explain myself better. So now he understands that, and he actually enjoys it, because, you end up learning as well.
Yeah.
If you have some weaknesses in a language, you end up picking some new words. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just funny for me.
Maybe
it's
some to
good
come up
fun.
with your own language. Maybe you mix and
Yeah,
match and
probably.
don't tell anyone what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll tell you another thing that was quite funny yesterday in class. Not funny, but in class yesterday, it was a kid there who was 16, right?
Yeah,
He was coming to
Isaac,
a class.
uh-huh.
Shout out Isaac. I mean, I rolled with him a few times, and it's like, when you're watching someone who's 16 and you see, like, not your younger self necessarily, but you remember what it's like to be that age, right? And he's in a class, obviously an adults class. He's the youngest by a lot. And he's training, and it just made me sort of like, we was talking about getting older and injuries and whatever. I was looking at him, and I was trying to pass guard at one point and moving around with him, and I just thought, like, he moved his hip a certain way, and I just remember thinking to myself, like, fuck, I remember when I was 16 and you don't have to think about anything, right? You just let your body do what it good. But it'd be interesting to roll with him in 10 years when he's probably a black belt and he's
That's
like,
it.
whatever, But
Yeah.
in here, the reason I bring that up as well is because there was a good vibe. Like, there's people in class that are probably in their 40s, right, yesterday,
Yeah.
and they're training, and it was mostly white belts in class yesterday, I believe,
That's
right?
it.
But it was good white belts, right?
Yeah.
They know what they're doing, man. Like, you've put this in positions and whatnot.
Yeah. So actually, in the class that you were doing, there were, three, like, to be fair, all of them started with us, and yeah, we really, like, for us, it's really important, the curriculum, especially the beginning, introducing them in Jiu-Jitsu. This is one of the classes that with Marco we've been developing since Fightzone London. We've had introductory classes just for the past 4 or 5 years. And yes, like, they started just next to the beginners class, and then they started growing. If you go now to London, you have specific classes, like specific space just for that. And so that really, really helps to people, like, for people to get introduced, really, like, understand. Because if you think about it, Jiu-Jitsu is tough, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's hard to understand how to move your body, and at the same time understand what you have to be doing, like, in terms of pulling or pushing. Like, what am I doing now? Am I defending? Am I attacking? So many questions at the same time, isn't it? So, like, it's hard. I would not want to go back to my white belt days.
No, man, nah, not now, no.
So, yes, like, if you think about it, the more we can support them, in their journey at the beginning, the less prone to injuries there will be.
Definitely.
Because that's the thing. If you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna twist your body, you're gonna turn, you're gonna do some crazy thing, and you're gonna get hurt.
Yep.
So yeah, like the vibe yesterday in the class, for example, so many different sizes. but it's important to get them to work together because they will work together for a long time, right?
For sure, yeah.
Size cannot be a problem,
No.
cannot be an issue.
Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. Especially because, like, when you're 16 and like versus someone who's a beginner in their 40s, for example, like you're dealing with a very different sport almost, right?
Yeah.
Because the 16-year-old, as I said, you could throw him out the fucking window and he'd be fine. Whereas someone who's 40 and starting jiu-jitsu, it's a different game. You got to be more mindful. Do you know what I mean? Like me, when you started, you would have been similar to me, sort of early 20s, right?
Yeah.
So you're an adult, but at the same time, it's like you're all right. Do you know what I mean? You can sort of go through it. Whereas I remember people being on the mat that were at the time, well, probably my age now, that were like similar level to what I am now. And you watch them and they've got this injury, that injury. And I remember looking at it going like, that won't be me. Do you know what I mean? But it creeps up on you, doesn't it?
It does. So that's why the importance of working on all of the aspects that are beyond the training, jiu-jitsu only, you know? And yeah, just being mindful, really. Being mindful. Yeah, I started, I was turning 19, and oh my God, the amount of injuries I got within the first 2 or 3 years. Wow, doesn't matter, go. Now I am more mindful, you know, I am more mindful not only for the rest, like resting aspect, but also like you would underestimate it, but icing, you know, it helps so much. It solves your problems if you do it as soon as possible. If you have, you know, a pain or something, ice it. I used to be like, whatever, you know, carry on. No. So yeah, this these aspects of the game, like I said, they go beyond the physical, you know.
Well, this is your tool, isn't it? You have to look after this forever. But there's like, what's your recovery situation, if you like? Do you do massage? Do you do like the ice baths, all that kind of shit? Or you just not so much?
Yes. So there's a center right here. Actually, I'll try and see if I can take you tomorrow afternoon. Is a center that has a technology that has been patented in Finland. Is a center for recovery, and they have this chamber where you can go and literally do it's not an ice bath, because it's based on hydrogen.
This is a cryo chamber, cryotherapy.
Chamber,
okay.
that's it. The word wasn't coming to me. So yeah, cryotherapy, and then you have localized cryotherapy, and they also have these beds with red light, you know, they're infrared lights. They have the hyperbaric chamber as well, where you can get extra oxygenation. So literally you can do like three treatments, you know, and yeah, just like your recovery like incredible, you know. The first thing would be the hyperbaric chamber, then you would do the cryotherapy, and then the red light.
Wow.
That's perfect, you know. So whenever I can do that, I do it. So the guys in the center, what they do, I promote them in a way. You know, I help them promote the product that they have. They have this exhibition center, and then, you know, people that are interested, they open a center, you know, with these machines. They are incredible. I had an injury in my knee that, you know, like this physio was saying to me, like, was gonna take at least 6 months. I was doing this treatment like 2-3 times a week. I recovered within 2 months, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. 100%, I swear. And then obviously it was like more the mental part that I had to work, but physically I was 100% within 2 months, you know?
Wow.
And the prediction was 6 months, you know, no competition, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, like cryotherapy, 100%, I could put my hand on fire for it.
Really,
you know?
yeah.
100%. Localized or full body, you know? And so that would be the main thing for me. Ice baths, yeah, I really enjoy them. You know, Progress, shout out to Progress.
Yeah, Progress.
They sent us a one of these, how do you call it? It's like a tube, you know, how do you call it? It's a bath 2.
Yeah, like a plunge pool type thing.
That's
yeah.
it. It's like a small pool, you could say. Yeah. And yeah, we use that one too. Not right now, be cold now. But resting, honestly, like sleeping, having a better sleeping pattern, you know, trying to sleep at the same time every night, you know. I used to sleep so late. I used to be like adrenaline, like super high, you know, and still wake up super early, you know. But now, like, no, I need to go to sleep now.
Yeah.
You know, I force myself. Definitely those 2 things are a must for me.
That's interesting. Because
Yeah.
I've done all those things with the cryo and the hyperbaric and stuff. And recently I've started doing the red light therapy. I'm lucky.
Alright.
My friend's got one in the house. So I
Alright.
can use it like a lot, you know what I mean? So I can use,
whenever
I
you
like
want.
it a lot. And there's something called a PEMF mat. Do you know this thing? It's like a mat, and I don't know if someone else might help me. I had the guy who made them on, Andy Smith. Shout out Andy. But basically it helps like rejuvenate cells, I think.
Yeah,
I'm probably
yeah,
butchering
yeah.
this, but if someone knows, shout out. But I've been using that, and I feel a big benefit for that.
Yeah.
I use the whoop strap too. So like when I've done it,
Yeah, the whoop one.
when I've done it, my scores are way better. So I feel it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like sometimes someone goes, "Oh, try this," and like it's amazing.
try it,
You don't
but you
feel
feel
much, and you
nothing,
just go
yeah.
whatever. But this, like, is definitely the first 2 times I used it. I had like almost like a headache, and I felt a bit like I'd had a hard training session. I was a bit like, I don't know. But I carried on. My friend said, just keep fucking trying it. Like, and I did it. And like, yeah, I definitely stick to that. Yeah, the hyperbarics I've done in the past and stuff,
Yeah,
but it's hard to
that's-
do regular. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard to do regular, but even like just doing it once every now and then like that, the oxygenation that brings to your body, that really rejuvenates all the dead cells, you
Yeah.
know, like, and so yeah, it's really, all these treatments, they are like an investment, really.
Yeah.
You know, that would be a dream in the future to open a center like that with
Really? Yeah, you wanna do that,
with
yeah.
the different of these, you know, machines. Really, they're really good.
Yeah, because I tell you why I bring this up a lot with people is I don't want to get to 50 and be the guy who's like limping and be like, oh, in my jiu-jitsu days when I used to be able to do
No
this, and
way.
this. I want to be fine at that age. I want to be able
Yeah.
to move and like still roll. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, like mobility is everything.
Yep.
You know, and what these treatments do really is keep your body mobile.
Yep.
You know, as much as possible.
Yep.
And you know, there's another aspect as well that I don't talk enough about it, but it's been a constant in my life for a long time, actually. I would say at least for the past 8 to 9 years. Well, meditation, you
Okay.
know, is another aspect that is estimated, let's say. But actually, like, just, you know, scientifically proved that 20 minutes of meditation can actually bring you energy for the rest of your day. The best time for a meditation would be in the mid of the day, you know, or morning, early morning. But yeah, I feel like sometimes I would like to have a nap in the afternoon, but I can't, you know. I just do like a 20 minutes meditation session, and that really like just like brings out more energy, you know. I have more energy for the rest of the day, which is usually classes with the kids, for which you have to have a lot
Oh, you
of
better have energy.
you know?
Oh, you better have energy.
Yes, especially when you have sometimes three kids classes in a row. You know,
Yeah. Ouch.
you want to be strong.
Yeah.
So yeah, meditation. You know, there are different techniques, different things that you can like, but just simple breathing meditation. You know, just basic stuff, 3 in, 3 out, you know, just counting. You will lose the focus 100%, you know, but then go back to it, you know.
Yeah.
20 minutes is a lot. If people are not used to it, it's a lot. But, you know, like start with 5 minutes and then increase. 20 minutes is perfect. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say meditation, really, it helps to recover, you
That's
know?
interesting, yeah. Because with the meditation, and I agree, I do meditation myself, and I've found like different techniques with the breathing and listening to things and all this kind of, but to be honest, the best one I find is if I just sit as I am now, eyes closed, don't think about anything and try, I know it sounds a bit hippie vibe, guys, but do you know what I mean? Just switch off from everything,
Yeah.
I feel is where I get my most energy after. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? I've
that's
almost
it.
had like a power nap, even though I'm not sleeping, but
That's it.
I feel
Yeah.
out of it. And one of the things that it kind of links with it, I think, is a good sort of mentality with your training. I don't mean like mental toughness and stuff. I just mean like a good vibe. Like we come in the gym yesterday, high five, and yeah, it's a fun place to be. I think that helps with your recovery too. Do you know what I mean? It's less drain on the system because this place specifically, I've had loads of people on that have been out here. I don't know, Rodrigo Fernandez. I don't know if you know from Berlin.
Of course.
He's been here. He spoke to me about here. Shout out Rodrigo. He was in BJJ dojo in Berlin. I've been out there training with them guys, and he came here and he had good things to say. And I just think it's important. I don't know why he came to mind, but shout out, man. I hope you're good. It's just, I think when you go, like, I don't know about yourself, but like back in the day, my background was boxing, right? So like sometimes you go in boxing gyms, and it's not like this. It's like fucking everyone's like mean. It's like a cold, and it's an extra stress you don't need. You know what I mean? When you're training anyway. So I guess it doesn't really matter. But like when you come in and there's a good energy in the place, I feel like that goes a long way as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. No, I see exactly the point that you are pointing out. And if you are in a hostile space, you will feel stressed.
Yeah.
It's natural for your body to feel stressed. And let's face it, we do a stressful sport. You are constantly putting yourself under stress, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't need that extra stress before going in. Because loads of people suffer from anxiety. If you have to come in a place that is hostile and you're already feeling that cortisol running up, creeping up in your bloodstream, you will not feel safe.
Yeah.
That's the thing, So it's super important to have a friendly space where people can come, like you are welcomed, and then for sure we can train super hard. We can kill each other.
Yeah.
But, being respectful, being friendly, it's super, super important,
Because I think it's important for training especially, right?
Yes.
Because in competition you're going to be nervous anyway and you've got to do all that shit. You don't need that every day because it just wears you out. But touching on that, like what are you like competition-wise? Do you get super nervous before or are you one of them that just rolls off?
I think everyone gets nervous. Like, there's no, no, I'm going to go, I don't mind, I'm okay. So you don't care. If you feel nothing, it's because you don't care.
Right.
But it's normal to feel nervous. It's how you deal with that. It's how you manage it, really. How you transform this nervousness, this, anxiety, really, And I think that's the most fun part for me. To control the anxiety, to control that nervousness, and just be like, hey, you're here for a reason, you can do this. And that's where the whole mental preparation comes in. That's where the whole meditation, all the work that you've done within, that's when it comes out,
right.
And I had competitions, I had fights where I freezed, Mm-hmm. And especially at the beginning, as a white, as a blue belt. As a white belt, actually, I fought for a short period of time. I got my blue belt after 11 months, But then in the blue belt, I was in the blue belt for a while. And oh my God, I had so many competitions. Not so many, but I would say like 2 or 3 in which I froze. My first Europeans, I did absolutely nothing. I was frozen. I couldn't move, And that was obviously the adrenaline, the cortisol, and everything. But that's where I started working on the mind, really, And it's just about mantras, what you say to yourself. What do you say to yourself before fighting? Oh my God, and that's something that I talk to the kids a lot, I give you an example. We've got this little girl. She's done already quite a few competitions. Last year she went to the Euros. She got third at the Euros, but then she went this year. She went back, and before stepping on the mat, and bear in mind, this little girl, she prepares very hard. She does privates and you saw her before. She does 7 a.m. class with me. So she trains before going to school. So she's very dedicated, and that's because she wants, not because her parents forced her. So she absolutely loves it. And so she goes for her second Europeans, but she looks on the side and she sees this little girl that is a bit bigger than her. She sees that the little girl has a couple of extra stripes. So she gets nervous before. And so before stepping in, she looks at me and I see her eyes full of tears. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? So before going in, she was already beating herself.
Right.
So she fights. It didn't go as she wanted. And she lost the match by points, you know. She froze. She kind of like froze, really. But funny enough, just like over a month later, she fights the same girl in another competition twice. And she wins the little girl twice. Why? We started working so much right here. I was like, hey, you cannot get intimidated by the size of another person. You can't get intimidated by the amount of medals that they have. A fight is a fight. It can go either way. It's 50-50. You have to believe that. And you have to believe in yourself. So the what you were telling yourself before is so important. So important. And yes, I'm practicing this more and more by working with the kids, you know, because you can see these tiny little people, you know, they have all the doubts, all the problems of an adult, just like in miniature, you know?
Yeah.
And you can, if you can help them now, can you imagine how more resilient they will be as adults, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I think that goes a little bit when it's kids and stuff. It's a little bit like the physical side of things. You know, where like if they get injured physically, they shake it off quicker than an adult. I think the mental side of things, they adapt quicker too, right?
Yeah.
Because they've got more of a blank canvas. Do you know what I mean?
That's
Like, and for a girl that age, I don't know how old she is. I met her, but
She's 9
She's
now.
9. But for her, can you imagine like a girl that age to be that focused on it? It's unbelievable, isn't it? Imagine what she's going to be like 10 years time, 20 years time. You know?
I have to also say kudos to her because that's out of what's normal, I would say.
Right. Yeah, yeah. It's a rare thing.
It is, it is. I mean, especially, like I said, at this age, and like I said, her parents do not force her to do absolutely.
But that's why it's great,
know,
because like if she wants to do it, it's a game, isn't
wants
it?
to.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like there's nothing worse. You've seen it at competitions, right? Parents pushing the kid, and you can see the kid kind of likes it, but doesn't really. Do you know what I mean? The parents into it more, and it's even worse. You see the parent doesn't even do martial arts, so they don't even know. They don't even understand what they're looking at. You know?
And the past 2 competitions that we took the kids, I saw quite a few occasions that the child is crying and they want to get out and there's a parent there, come on, bro, come on, come on. If they don't want it, like the worst thing you can do is force them.
Yeah, especially
know?
martial arts. It's not like football. It's too tough, isn't it? It's too hard on the body.
It's hard. Like it's super hard. Like impact, you know. And like imagine yourself like half your size in a huge space, like so much shouting and like noise. It's hard for you to tune in and listen to one person. So they get overwhelmed. It can, you know, there's no formula for that. It might go how you want from the first time or maybe not, but you have to support them, you know, in whatever they want to do without making them feel that, oh, I'm disappointing. No, you are here, you're trying. If you don't feel like it right now, you don't have to go in.
Yeah.
Like Nora, when she was stepping in the mats for the Euros and she started crying, I asked her, if you don't want, you don't have to go in. But if the referee sees you crying, he will ask questions. So she tried as much as she could, you know, to stop crying, but because she wanted to fight. It was just being nervous right there and then, you know. But yeah, like it's really tough. It's really tough. If it's tough for us, imagine how tough it can be
exactly.
for a child, you know.
Yeah. And there's a lot going on as well. Like, could you see that too, which is coaches, and it's not necessarily that they're bad coaches. They're just coaching too much. Like, you know, pull guard, De La Riva, move this way, do this, and it's like just chill. Let him do one thing at a time.
Yes, I mean, I have to be honest. Like, I'm very passionate about coaching, and so I try to be there with them. But then, like, you know, I realize, like, because I know how it is also fighting. Sometimes, like, you are fighting and you are being asked to do something, but physically or for whatever reason, you can't, you know, like, the person is defending really well, or the weight is different, or the strength is whatever, you know. So sometimes you really can't do what they are asking you. So, you know, that's when maybe change the strategy, let them work it out, you know, I don't know. But yeah, this is actually something that I'm learning in the process. I have to be honest, you know. I'm learning in the process to that's my like I strive to be a better coach every day. That's my goal, you know. Every day I strive to be a little bit better. What can I do to get them to understand me better? Because bear in mind, like the main classes I do is with kids that are 7 to 10 years old. You know the attention span, you know how short it is. Yeah, so like for you to spend time with them and explain to them a concept in Jiu-Jitsu, which is so hard, it's already so hard. Jiu-Jitsu is hard per se. For you to explain it, for them to understand it, like it's so many different processes, you know?
Yeah.
So my goal every day, I strive to be precise, direct, in a short period of time, and make it fun.
Yeah.
It has to be fun.
It has to be fun.
Because if it's, you know, they're not going to enjoy it. And what I'm seeing more and more in this group, you know, the 7 to 10 years old, I see their attention, like, they're like little puppies there, ready to, you know, let's go, you know, ready to, for anything really. And it's really nice. It's really, really nice to engage with them. One of the things that I like doing in class is engaging with the students, asking them questions. So which side, like simple questions at first, obviously. I give them the options. I'm not just asking an open question. I'm like, which side do I turn? Side 1 or side 2? And I give them, you know, like, and so they are engaged, and they sometimes they want to give me the answer. You know, another thing that I like doing as well is getting them to try the position on. So we like, it's me and it's usually 2 others. They do the class with me, so I can get them to demonstrate the positions. But I often get the kids, you know, so that they can feel that they are participating. So right there and then you can correct little things, you know, like the posture and this and that. And so they engage even more because they know that anytime they can be called to demonstrate or just answer the question, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
They love it. They love it.
But that's cool, because I tell you what's interesting as well is like different people learn in different ways as well, right?
Yes.
Like some people, you said earlier about studying jiu-jitsu and stuff. I know people, and obviously we all do, like that sit and they're watching instructionals. They can sit there for 4 hours and they're taking notes and they take it. Whereas for me, if I watched that, I'd be like, nothing would go in. Like some people need like a, I don't know, like a 10, 15 second clip, and they watch it a few times and they get it quicker that way, which is like, there's all that kind of importance of feeling it, seeing it. And with kids, like you said, I think you touched on it there, is like the most important thing to me when I don't teach kids regular, but I've done classes, you know, cover classes. You got to keep it fun, right? Because if you teach them the same way as an adult, you realize in 5 minutes they're just looking at the wall and they don't care.
They don't care. And it's like, and it's not because they don't care, is how I'm putting it for them.
Yeah. And also they've been at school all day mostly, right? So if they've been at school, they've been told what to do, they've been bored all day, they don't want to come and go for another lesson. Do you know what I mean? They want to play.
Yeah, exactly. And we try to use it in here, the strategy of saying, oh, we're going to do this game, you know, which is, obviously it's a game, but in the end it's a technique, or it's like you are practicing a drill, you know. But as soon as you say game, for them it's like, oh, okay, let's play a game.
Yeah, that's right,
like, oh, this is not really a game. Of course it is.
Yeah,
you know?
it is. And do you find that coaching makes you a better athlete yourself?
I would say so. Being more precise, you know. One thing that I say often to all students, you know, like, obviously you have details, right? For me, details are really, really important. Like working with Marco, you know, he's such he focused so much on details and how these details are gonna affect if you don't use them, if you just ignore them, you know, and so it's just like, I don't know, like this is the main thing. I would say that like working and teaching, you know, you focus more on certain details that can eventually take you to the submission, because what do we want in the end? We want to finish the match. At
Yes, we
least I
do. No points here, submissions only.
And so, you know, but at the same time you have to be precise, because if you just go for the kill, you might lose on points. So you have to be, you know, you have to position yourself. And so since like the main work with the students is concepts. You know, we're going to be working on the concept of passing the guard. We're going to be working on the concept of defending your guard, or you know, and so you work more these concepts with the students, and then when you have to apply them yourself, it's almost like, okay, I have to be even more precise. You know, so yeah, I would say that precision is the main thing. You try to be as precise as possible, and timing. Look for the timing, you know. That's the reason why I like competing. You know, there's people that say, oh, if you are a coach, you can't really compete, or if you compete, you can't be really a coach. And I'm like, really? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you can do both. And you just have to manage your time, of course, you know. But yeah, you can definitely do both. And yeah, teaching definitely helps. Being precise, looking for the positions, looking for the better timing, for sure.
Yeah. Are you a fan of watching as well? I know you said you watch for studying, but are you a fan of like when competitions come around, you like to watch? Because like ADCC, CJI, all that kind of stuff, or are you more sort of, do you like watching gi stuff?
I watch both.
You watch both?
I consume Jiu Jitsu a lot.
Do you? Yeah.
I do.
How about MMA and stuff? Are you a fan of MMA or not so much?
I do watch some matches because Rafa loves it, you know.
Right,
Rafa
okay.
loves MMA. He's done a few fights as well. And I watch it because I think it's important to see how our sport is getting, you know, is getting out, how our sport is influencing mixed martial arts, which it does, of course, very strongly. So yeah, it's nice, and it's nice to see also some people that transition from Jiu-Jitsu to MMA. You know, so many times I've been asked, "Oh, when are you gonna do your transition?" But no, I don't know. I don't like the idea of getting punched in the face. Doesn't enthusiasm me much, but yeah, like striking is really like was my first passion actually. You know, so who knows? You never know.
Say never, right?
Say
still
never.
young, you're still young, you can get there. But the reason I asked a little bit is, one thing I asked a lot of people on here as well is like points in Jiu-Jitsu and the way it's scored. You touched on it a little bit, you want the submission, but points you have to take in. Have you got a favourite rule set?
Yes, I like submission only.
Yep.
That's my favorite one. I would say that's where I've blossomed the most.
Right.
You know, 10 minutes submission only would be my favorite one.
Boom.
But
And what happens at the end of that? If no thing, is it a
if
draw?
there are no, like, depending on the rule set, if there are no submissions, you're going to be looking for who got to the most submissions or who got to the most dominant positions, you know. So I think it's very dynamic.
Yep.
I've tried only a few times. It's been like, what, three times, yeah. Just national ones doing ADCC. And it's really interesting. I really like it. You know, first minutes is like, go for, you know, anything you have, and then the points start counting. So that's also interesting. But at the same time, I also like the scoring system. You know, I like the idea of progression in the match. I like 10 minutes match in which you can develop a game. You know, especially in the gi. The gi can be so like you really have to find wizardries. You know, you become like a wizard of the gi because you've got so many tricks, you know, that you can pull out. And yes, it's another different, you know, score system. Like, so yeah, I mean, which one is my favorite one? I would say sub only, just because, you know, you can just keep rolling and moving for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But I also like positioning myself, dominating the position, you know. So yeah, I mean, I guess if I had to choose, I wouldn't know. Like, as long as you keep me you keep me in the fight, I'm happy, you know?
Yeah, I got you. So here's my theory, and some people have gone, yeah, that's great, and some people go, that's stupid, man. But you tell me what you think. I like 10 minutes, like you said, or 5 minutes, whatever you want time-wise. I'm not too fussed about the time, but more no points, no nothing. At the end, it's sub only, and if it goes to the end, referee or judge's decision. Simple as that. They watch it, They tell you who won. Because I was at a competition, I've said this on here many times, so if I'm boring people, deal with it, guys. Entity. So basically it was like 5-minute matches, I think, maybe 6. But it was mostly white and blue belts as well, so which was more exciting in a lot of ways because they're not efficient with their energy, they're just going, right? And just going and going and going. And it was 5 minutes, as I say, or 6 minutes. At the end, if there was no sub, the ref just raises a hand. And there was a couple of them that were close, and he's standing there, and you could see he was kind of going, that one. And but I know it's a bit, there's some problems with that too, but at the same time, it was exciting because the guys are just going after it. And I just feel like if me and you watch a jiu-jitsu match, we're not scoring it per se, we're just watching it. We've got an idea who won at the end, right? And I like that idea. Now, you're smiling at me half, so you're probably going to tell me this is bullshit, but you tell me.
No, I think you're right. I mean, like leaving it to the referee, it's tough. Like, look, I've refereed in the past as well, and I'll probably do it in the future again. And refereeing is tough, And at the end, if you have to choose one person, you just basically do just like you can't, like you have to choose someone.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, I guess like with the score system, it's clear, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty clear. So that's why if you get the sub, there's no discussion,
no argument,
isn't it? No argument. So yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. It's also depending on the match. Sometimes you watch a match and it's like, oh, you would definitely give it to that person, but then they give it to the other one. I mean, what's fair, really? Let me see. Okay, just one thing.
Yep.
We can carry on, but they will start a class here at 9:30.
Cool. Yeah, no problem. Do you want to move or?
We can.
Or we can wrap it up if you want. We've been going for a while. We can bring it home. Yeah. Briefly, we'll bring it home.
Do you have enough?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, we've been going for a long time. That was brilliant. I can't let you go before the most important question, which I'll ask you in a second. But before we do finish up, is there anything coming up? Any sponsors? Anything you want to shout out?
Yes. Shout out to my amazing sponsors, Progress. They send me the best gear. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Shout out to CTN, the center that I was telling you about, that is here in La Nucia. And thank you so much to Fightzone, Costa Blanca, Fightzone London, my home, really. They are amazing. And obviously, last but not least, very important, thank you so much to ICBD Global. They send me amazing stuff as well, amazing products that I have the chance to share with others as well. And yeah, thanks to you as well.
Thank you very much. I'll get all them off you and tag them in this as well, so all your sponsors, all that kind of stuff. Before we finish, as I said,
we have 5 minutes.
The most important question I'm going to ask you. This decides whether we stay friends or not. You've been in London, so we'll see. Which football team do you support?
Which football team do I support? Okay, so being Brazilian, I still have a passion for my childhood team, which is Palmeiras from Brazil. But you'll be disappointed to know that I haven't been into football.
Chelsea, very good. Well done. Thank you very much.
Okay, I get Chelsea.
Brilliant. But as I say, I really appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much.
Question. Thank you so much.
I always finish with the fist up like this. Squeeze the neck. Boom.